on the part of the executive, the governor, and some members of their party, to switch to the ruling party, and I guess, for the same opportunism. And of course, we've also seen elected representative from the party who switched to APC. I guess we've seen a couple of people from the APC too. So for me, really, it is not so much of legality than it is of immorality and political prostitution and irresponsibility. And the electorate should be concerned. I am personally concerned and worried that this is not what, the drafters of our constitution envisage, when they grant the power or freedom to associate. And if you look at other jurisdictions, it doesn't work like this. I mean, in the US, for example, yes, people can switch party and it rarely happens, but when they do, they will be recalled immediately or lose election in the next opportunity. And then they usually go on to either join a new party or become independent. And of course, in the UK, a member of MP, the parliament who switches party automatically loses their seat immediately. So if you ask me, I think the law we have in Nigeria is not, I would say, broad enough to even capture those in the executive arm of government. As it is now, Section 69 only focuses on the members of the House of National Assembly. So I guess the law should also extend to the executives, and even more stricter, to the extent that when you decamp, when you leave your party, you automatically lose your seat. If you are a governor, you automatically lose the seat. Because when the electorate, when they go to the polls, they are generally motivated not only by your own personality, and I would say largely because of the party. People associate more with political parties than they do with individuals, or vice versa.
All right, Dr. Lateef, like you said, over there in the UK, when people they come, they automatically lose their seat. But I think the law in Nigeria, the 1999 Constitution, has actually made it possible for people to defect and not lose their seats. And that's because of the clause in that section of the Constitution that you raised. There's a clause there saying if there's an evidence, of division, of merger, of faction in the party. So that clause in our Constitution actually makes it possible for politicians to defect from one party to another. So before I go to the moral aspect of it, let's talk about that clause now, that evidence. In terms of law, how subjective can it be? Because that evidence can be subjective. If they can prove, if there's any evidence of division, of merger, of factionalization within the party, then they are exempt. They are allowed to defect. So how do we deal with that evidence and that clause of the Constitution?
All right, thank you. You see, those who inserted, the proviso, if you like, or that exception, I'm sure they had good intention. Laws are made for human beings and not the other way around. So they recognize the possibility that occasions might arise for an elected person or even a politician to decamp from their party. One of such legitimate occasions is merger. Another one is also when the party is polarized from top to the bottom. This is what the Constitution envisages. But unfortunately, political irresponsibility and prostitution crept in when politicians then began to exploit that provisions, and they decamp recklessly. They decamp irresponsibly, such that everybody now claim that there are divisions in their political parties. And unfortunately, or maybe unfortunately, we've also had a number of cases where the court have not really been consistent in interpreting that provision. But luckily, again, we had another one from the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court actually said, well, the division that section envisages is not, I would say, it's not minor squabbles or disagreement within a party. It has to be something that has really polarized the political party itself. And if you ask me, with all sense of responsibility, the PDP in Nigeria nationally, I can say, may not be able to pass that test, because at the national level, the parties seem to be well polarized. But whether that is the case or not, it is for the courts to determine. So the point, therefore, is that, yes, that provision is there, to, I would say, confirm the fact that occasions may warrant, the camping. But then how have the people, I would say, used these provisions? I think there have been a lot of abuses, and this cut across all political parties. I mean, not just the PDP or APC or LP. We've seen people move around. And this is why I've called it again political prostitution. So for me, the problem is not so much again of legality than it is of morality. People are largely irresponsible. They are not accountable.
All right.
They don't really respect the electorate who trusted them with their mandate.
All right, Dr. Lateef, which brings us to the moral aspect of that conversation, which I actually asked Honorable here in the studio just before you joined us. And here's the question. I'm throwing that question to you again here. Here in Osun State, we have the PDP in government. We have Governor Adeleke as the governor and the leader of the party. He, right now, has pledged support for presidential candidates of the APC, an opposition party, for the 2027 election. Whereas 4 lawmakers in the state have defected to that same PDP. Since you're talking about morals now, so what moral justification does the PDP have in Osun State to crucify these lawmakers who have decamped to the party that their principal is supporting for the presidential election?
To be honest with you, and let us cut, straight to the chase, there is no any morality to sanction members of their party, who have decamped or who are attempting to decamping. I mean, for me, it speaks of hypocrisy. Yes, I listened to the Honorable in the studio. I understand where he's coming from. I think he spoke about, he didn't use the word pragmatism really, but then I think, being pragmatic, understanding our politics, this is how we do our own politics, or this is the stage of our political growth, such that because the president is a Yoruba man, the traditional ruler and blah, I heard all of those things. They do make sense, to a very large extent. But the truth is that they do not remove the fact of political, I would say, irresponsibility again, or political failure or lack of accountability. Yes, you want to do that. But how does that really justify the duty you hold the electorate to stay true to the cause? How do you punish some member from decamping from your party to another party, while even those of you who remain in the party, you are literally campaigning for the candidate of another party, the president? Yes, this is good for the APC. I'm sure the APC will like it. The president may like it, okay? But then is it the right thing? The answer is no. Is it morally justifiable? No. The party's primary have not even commenced. May God save the life of the president and all of us. We will not even know if the president will be seeking a re-election. And then they're already doing all of this, far ahead of 2027. What I'm saying is that 2027 is a bit far and maybe short as well in politics. Right. Anything can happen. So all of these things they are doing, I think they are putting themselves in a moral conundrum, because if the president fails to contest again, for example, if he drops dead, God forbid, anybody can die. I can die too at my own appointed time. So what happens? Or if the PDP eventually present a presidential candidate who is better, who is stronger, or whatever, or even more competent than the president.
And he's also a Yoruba man.
And he's also a Yoruba man. These are possibilities. So this is why you see moral principle has to be matched with consistency and integrity. So if your morality is consistent and is matched with integrity, no matter what happens, you will remain consistent. So anything can happen. So for me, really, Doctor, there is no justification, none at all, except that it is hypocritical.
Hypocritical. And please hang in there. We'll come to Honorable Bamiji right now. You've heard the doctor say, in a kind of way agrees with your position, but then he has called it hypocrisy. If it's good for the president, the governor, saying for whatever reason, some of these sentiments that you talked about, and the reality, as you have called it, of our politics around here is hypocrisy. What moral ground do you have to now be punishing or be suing that the court will punish those persons?
The scenario, as I'm concerned, I would, Dr. Misbau, fine gentleman, but perhaps I would do the same thing if I happens to be in his shoe. At times when you are a football lover, you tend to be a better player than those on the field. It is easy to analyze situations like that when you are not really in there. You know, there are precedents to all this. Even this incumbent president, there were times when he's a special advisor on security, NSA, was put forward by the APC or AC then, and the president now decided to support the then President Jonathan. So it has always been like that. And
talking about Nuhu Ribadu.
Yes, Nuhu Ribadu. I also want us to sincerely. I also want us to. I want to see Nigeria move or operate at the level, at the pedestal of what we are thinking it should be. I also want, but are we there yet? So if we are not there, why can't we be where we are and begin to see how we move forward from there? Because if we are not here presently, it might be difficult to even...
So how long should we remain where we are?
The question is, this decision of Mr. Governor and the PDP, those that are defected, Mr. Governor supporting the president, is it part of the moving?
I explained that there are two different scenarios. It is not as if Mr. Governor is saying that he's moving to the APC. You have not heard that from him. That is now being preferred upon.
Don't you think it's even worse?
Elements.
Honorable Bamiji, don't you think it's worse that is with the PDP, is supporting an APC candidate? Those ones have even made their journey known.
No.
So where's the morality? Meaning?
The governor did not make himself that governor. He worked with so many tendencies in the state.
Especially the Osun people, the voters.
Yes.
Did they send him this?
Including the traditional rulers.
You keep mentioning, sorry sir,
no,
you keep mentioning the traditional rulers.
I mentioned
how about the voters?
They are our fathers unless you don't want to regard them as our fathers.
No, you won't put that on me. They are our fathers, they remain our fathers. Honorable Bamiji, those people that voted Mr. Governor, has he conferred with them? Did they send him this particular decision?
We have a way of engaging the electorate
so it's true
in
the
our own political system, not just the traditional rulers.
Okay.
I tell you, you can see the margin with which Mr. Governor won his election in Osun State, and the margin with which APC lost the presidential election in the state.
It still tells you that you have not answered my question.
No, I'm going there.
What I'm saying is, the barrister said it's hypocrisy.
Mr. President, now.
Do you agree that it's hypocrisy?
No. It still tells you that Mr. President still enjoys some level of support. Even while APC lost here, the margin was still a bit marginal then. Because even when the support was really wild for Mr. Governor here, when it was the turn of the presidential election, people still voted more for Mr. President.
Honorable Bamiji, I'm going to ask
for us, it is like where we are. Unless we want to become an angel within a twinkle of an eye.
Honorable Bamiji, the people of Osun State are listening. The royal fathers, the monarchs are listening. And I want to ask you this critical question. And they're watching. And I want to ask you this critical question because you are saying it right now. And I want you to say it again. Are you implying that the decision to support Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu for 2027 was actually imposed upon Mr. Governor, upon Governor Adeleke, that decision was not his idea? Is that what you're saying? That they prevailed, that the royal fathers prevailed upon him to support a president from another party, while he's the leader of a party in Osun State?
Political conversation will continue to evolve. It is an ongoing conversation. But where we were then, when you got that release, was where we were. That please support this, our son. It's still, no matter how we think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is performing today, you can still not remove the emblem of he being a Yoruba man from him. If it is easy for me to come here and begin to pretend that, oh, we are not in the same party, but that is Mr. President not a Yoruba man?
And he's not
Honorable Bamiji, I'm quite worried that when I see people, okay, who are educated and they haven't risen above this level of tribal sentiment, it worries me greatly. Honorable Bamiji, look at the state of Nigeria today. Hold on, Honorable Bamiji. Look at the state of Nigeria today. Nigerians are suffering. Nigerians are growing under the effect of the economic policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but simply because he's a Yoruba man, simply because he's from your tribe, you want to overlook all that. Is it not worrisome? If we are talking about good governance in Nigeria, you are not looking at that.
The world is not ending today. We hope he will do better. We hope he will listen to elements or tendencies in the country to do better. Maybe the president is not really engaging more with the people, maybe. But even if you now put, an Hausa man left the stage, I'm not sure whether he did better. So if you now say, okay, because you feel that Mr. President is not doing well as expected today, let's bring another person. Where is that person coming from? From Benin Republic or Togo? Or
the point is, it's not even from your party. The point is, it's not even from your party. The point is not even from your party. That's the point.
The person will still be in Nigeria, isn't it? So if the person is still going to be in Nigeria, please, it is like politics of turn by turn. That is where we are in Nigeria. We have a Yoruba. Yes, we have a Yoruba man now, and it will not be good to be on record that another Yoruba man disapproved.
I hope when it's the turn of the Shakiris or the Igbos, this same energy will maintain it.
I tell you, that is what they will do.
All right.
That is what they will do.
Come to
when we get there, because it is like a bridge.
All right.
We will get there. We are not there yet, my brother.
Lateef, if you can hear me. Now, you are not just...
I can hear you.
Yeah, you are not just only a law lecturer or a lawyer. You're also a public affairs analyst. And you have talked about how it is political, irresponsible. You call it political prostitution for people to just pack their baggage and their bags, and for political opportunism, in which you even said that is the main focus of everybody. Now, if this is what we will be doing, Honorable Oladele Bamiji has said this is a reality. He won't pretend. This is where we are. It's turn by turn. Support your own when it's your time. So, what will posterity say about us? Even if that is our reality, what is this? Now, some persons abused and complained about the Fulanization during Muhammadu Buhari. Now, people are complaining about Yorubanization of the whole thing. What is the future of Nigeria, politically speaking? I'll just take 1 minute because we are headed, towards...
All right. Thank you. Before I go to the future, let me quickly say that I really sympathize with the distinguished honorable in your studio.
Why? I
understand his predicament, and I know where he's coming from. But you see, for the future, we all just have to do better. So, because for the future of Nigeria, we have to infuse more morality into our politics. Yes, I know politics is local, and there is evolutionary stage for every political development in all countries, okay? So we can't say this is our fate. Perhaps it is the challenge we have now, but the best way to address this is for all of us to speak against it and overcome it. We cannot continue like this, and that is the truth. If we really want to develop and grow our system.
All right, just in 1 minute, Dr. Lateef, you're a learned fellow, and I asked a question here, and I'd like to throw this question at you. As a learned fellow, look at the state of Nigeria right now. You're not in Nigeria, but of course you know what's going on in Nigeria. Should we as a people, continue to place tribal sentiments over good governance? If we do, how are we going to move forward as a nation? Because I quite disagree with what Honorable Bamiji said, that Nigerians do that. I don't do that as a person. I wouldn't vote for someone because he's from my tribe. But if we keep placing tribal sentiments over good governance, how exactly should we move forward?
Let me tell you this. Democracy recognizes that people vote for various reasons. Some for tribal, some for ethnic, some for religion, some for friendship, some for family.
Yeah, Dr. Lateef, the question here is good governance. Should we equate it with good governance? Away from other factors.
Of course, we cannot equate it with good governance, but we cannot also deny people the right to use all of the factors available for them to determine who they vote for. That is the truth. So we also don't need to run away from that reality. People vote for people for various reasons. Now, whether that is good or not is another thing entirely. But I will say yes, for good governance, we should elevate certain, I will say, components above tribal, religious, or friendship sentiment. And I will say competencies. So if I'm faced with a candidate who is competent, another candidate who is my friend, for example, the best thing for me is to go for the candidate who is competent, who has a requisite capacity or qualifications. So this is the reality or the ideal we should all aim to achieve.
Yeah. Competence over other sentiments. But, you know,
yes.
Do I say unfortunately now?
Competence and capacity.
We are not there yet. But thank you, law lecturer at the University of Hull and lawyer as well, Dr. Lateef. Thank you for your time. Dr. Misbau Lateef. Let me call your full name.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And of course, Honorable.
Thank you. And good morning to you again and to the Honorable.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I wanted to call you Honorable Lateef. Misbau Lateef.
All right. All right.
We enjoy you. Enjoy your stay there.
All right. One of these days, we're going to have you on a different ground to talk about governance in Osun State. Like play. The time of your principal is going. You know, August 8 is another election. Yes. And Nigeria, we need to see your scorecard. All of us, we need to do that. All right, thank you.
You have seen it already. Even around here. Even around here.
Of course. Let us get to that. Let us get to that now.
Thank you for coming.
We can see.
We see you. Femi Ogesmani, it's been an absolute week. This Nigeria, this Osun, this Lagos, this Taraba, this Delta is all ours. And we must do better. And posterity, you know, we'd rather be kind or otherwise to us as well. Thank you to the production team. It's been an absolute week. Please stay with Western Spring Television. And on YouTube, we are Western Spring Television NG. Let me use my name. I'll see you on Monday. Really.
And Emeka Daniel is my name. Do have yourself a fantastic weekend. Join us again next week. Good morning.